The 16-bit summer after party rolls along with Star Fox 2. So hello everybody, welcome to my first winning run of Star Fox 2. So yeah, after a few attempts, I managed to finally get a proper grasp on how everything was working. Sorry I wasn't a complete pro at this game. I was playing for the first time in my first video. But yeah, I don't know, once you sort of get a hang for just how everything controls, it's not all that bad, though I still find it a bit cumbersome and awkward at times, but that's kind of what you can expect with a 3D game from this era. Things just aren't gonna be perfect. Now with dual analog sticks, oh hell yeah, that shit would have been on fire, but yeah, pretty much, I went with a team of Peppy and Slippy for this run because they're kind of the most beginner-friendly. Fox and Falco are average, just standard attack, standard defense, and they have bombs that deal a lot of damage to your foes. And then you have Peppy and Slippy. They're not all that fast, and they don't do that much damage, but they have a lot of health. Not to mention, they have special items that can increase their shields. And then the other two, Miyu and Faye, their names? I don't know. I can't remember. Because, that's kind of just how important they are. They only showed up in this game and weren't really referenced afterwards, but they're kind of hard mode. They're the fastest, and they do a lot of damage, but they're pretty fragile. Yeah, the main concept of the game, destroy the battleships, liberate the planets, then that will open up the way to Andross. The harder difficulties add more battleships that you have to deal with, and more planets that you have to liberate. So I don't know if the harder difficulties increase boss and enemy HP, but it does increase the volume of enemies, so I guess that is something you have to watch out for. Because aside from that, the bosses themselves weren't all that difficult. Truly, they're not. Even in one scrapped run, I encountered the long-ass bitch, and I beat it in 10 seconds. And I think that was with Fox. All I did was just throw one bomb and then one charge shot, oh, it's already dead. That was ridiculous. And even the Andross fight was pretty easy, though once again, I don't know if that was due to, the boss itself or the difficulty I was on. But even going back to what I said before, it doesn't sound like the higher difficulties add boss or enemy HP. I could be wrong, but that's not the vibes I was getting from the various outlets I was looking up information from. Which is a shame, because the Andross fight in this game was honestly probably my favorite Andross fight that I've dealt with to date. It was just so cool. It really was. Plus, he was also giving me Phanto vibes, but you're going to see that in the near future. Looking back on the game, you can see the ambition there. I really do like the RTS open world vibes that the game has, and so much that you have to watch out for. Yeah, okay, you do have to go forward and liberate the planets and destroy the battleships, but you also have to watch out for the fighters and the missiles that are going towards Corneria, and oh my god, I could just imagine this in 2-player on a newer console. Oh man, it would be so good. And I would love if they revisit this for the Star Fox series. Nintendo is acting like they don't know what they want to do with the Star Fox series. Just go back to this concept and flesh it out. It can work. Though to be fair, I haven't played any of the Star Fox games between Star Fox 64 and Star Fox Zero. And if I recall correctly, I think one of the Star Fox games in between. I want to say the DS, or one of the DS ones, if there were two. But there was a DS Star Fox that was more or less an RTS. I don't know if it was similar to this or not. I do need to play it, though. I own them, I just haven't played them. But yeah, it would be nice if they just go back to this and flesh it out. Because Nintendo, they just sort of have like this weird thing where, oh, well, we can't have multiple IPs of the same genre going on at the same time. Mario and Donkey Kong. But I don't know, like, even if they want to do that, you know, to separate it from other rail shooters, there's something here in Star Fox 2 where they can. Though it's not like their rail shooters are all that similar. I mean, Star Fox plays a hell of a lot differently from Sin and Punishment, which plays a hell of a lot differently from Kid Icarus Uprising. But if they wanted to differentiate them even further, Kid Icarus can fill the on-rails / run-and-gun void. Star Fox can become a sort of RTS, intergalactic dogfight type game, which I think would be amazing. And Sin and Punishment can be their own breakneck action game, sort of like the stuff that Platinum Games does. And yeah, I mean, there is Bayonetta and Astral Chain, and those are essentially first-party Nintendo titles, since they put a lot of funding into their development and then published them. But at the end of the day, Platinum is still a third-party developer, and they want to stay that way, from what I've heard. So even if Nintendo were to make them an offer to buy them or make them a second-party studio, I don't think Platinum would go for that. So yeah, just make Sin and Punishment your own, like, in-house, non-stop action game. It could work. But back to Star Fox. I love this concept. Just go back to it, please, Nintendo. You don't know what you're doing with Star Fox now. Just do this. Not sure if I'll end up doing hard mode and expert mode for the channel, but in my own time I might go back to give them a shot. Because normal, once you sort of figure out what you're doing, it's not that hard of a mode. Though I guess it greatly helps that you only deal with 2 planets and 2 battleships. I am curious to see what the other, like, interplanetary bosses that Andros will send out are like. Because you only get the long-ass bitch in normal mode, but the harder difficulties add a total of 2 more bosses, I think. And I'd like to give them a shot. So, yeah, I don't really have much else to say about this here game or video, so just enjoy the rest of my successful run-through of this game. Like, there's really not much else to add. I was just actually doing the smart decision of getting rid of immediate threats to Corneria before going to a planet or battleship. And prioritizing the ones that could deal more damage as opposed to just whatever's closer. Like, I mean, if there's an army of 5 fighters zeroing in on Corneria, you might want to target them before you try to go after the force of 2 that the little defense missile will more than likely get on its own. Nonetheless, enjoy the rest of this here run, and I will see you next time with something else. Goodbye.
Special weapon. Special weapon. Special weapon. Twin blaster. Good work, Starfox. It was a team effort.
What's a mission?
Adios, then, boss. Let's head back to Corneria.